A next guest has brought me biscuits, number one, so I'm well happy. Number two, I'm happy too that we've kind of been able to help. Imagine what it is like if you live your whole life not really kind of knowing or understanding who you are. My next guest spent 55 years in that position, but it wasn't until she heard something on this show that the penny dropped and she finally realised that she was transgender. Now, you might remember over the last couple of years, we've been following the journey of Katie as she began living her life as a woman, and she told us on how making this change had felt for her.
There's no choice in it. And, some people sort of say, oh, it's a lifestyle choice. There's absolutely no choice at all. Nobody chooses to be trans because it's such a tough journey. There's so much loss involved and so much heartache. But the rewards are there because, to live your truth is just amazing.
To live your truth. Imagine what that's like, not being able to do that. Well, listening at home was Abbie Jones from Alderman's Green, and it had a life-changing effect. Good morning to you, Abbie. Thanks so much for coming in to join us. Because when you listening to that, you weren't Abbie.
No. I listened to it last summer, and somehow something just triggered. And the more I went into it, I saw her I went to speak to her on the rung her up and spoke to her on the phone.
This is Katie.
This is Katie.
Show,
yes,
yeah.
Katie. Yeah. And we arranged to meet, and we talked about her experiences when she was younger. And the more I went into it, something just triggered. I just knew, and I looked on the internet. I delved right into it and the background I had. And I just got this gut instinct, and all of a sudden, bang, I just realised I was transgender. And
so all through your life, there was no indication that you wanted to live your life as a woman?
No. I had a gut feeling there was intuition, there was something wrong. There was something just not quite right through my life. I've having 2 failed marriages, relationships. Didn't really know who I was as a person. So I left my second wife and decided to find out who I was as a person, because I didn't know.
Because you didn't feel comfortable in your own skin? No, I just
didn't feel... When you get this intuition, a gut instinct, there's something just not right. Doesn't gel right as a person you really are. And listening to Katie last summer, it just happened. When you get this gut instinct, and you always say your gut never lies to you, and I just knew that I was transgender.
What was it like, that moment when the penny dropped?
Very hard. It felt so real. And it was like I got like a big jigsaw, and I just found the last piece of the big jigsaw, and it just slotted into place, and that's who I was. And I just sat on the bed, I just cried, and I just said to myself, I'm a woman. And after all the years of not knowing who I was, that big black cloud of depression just lifted off my shoulders, and I knew who I was as a person, and I've never looked back since. And it's a life-changing experience. But as I went to see my doctor, I was somebody had advised me to get a piece of a notebook, and put all the experiences down when I was younger. And I was carrying this notebook for 2 weeks. And all them years, 50 years ago, everything come back to me as clear as a bell. And I just wrote it all down. In fact, I've got that much information. I've got an A4, 2 sides, an A4 piece of paper.
And this was all about the feelings you'd had and the effect it was having on you mentally. Because even as a child, you knew there wasn't something right, but you weren't sure what that was. Well,
for instance, when I started primary school, at 6 years old, I ran to the nearest, went into the schoolroom, the class, and ran to the nearest toy cupboard and picked a doll up and loved it. And after that, playing with my sister's doll's house, dressing her clothes, wearing my mother's earrings because they were clip-on, and a wig and a skirt, and looking at Grattan in them days in the 70s, looking at Grattan catalogues of
living the dream,
looking at the women's nice clothes, and looking at my mother's medical books, and I couldn't keep it off these medical books. There's something just drawing me to them. And when I was at primary school, I couldn't go to toilets with other boys, so I had to just go in a cubicle.
Because you felt different, biologically you felt different.
Yeah,
too.
I just couldn't pass other way at all. I had to use it, and that happened for years. I had to go in a cubicle and go to the toilet because I couldn't go with other boys. And when I went to the secondary school and when I went to the swimming baths, that was a nightmare because I wanted a cubicle to get undressed and I felt naked, and I just didn't want to. And there come a time when we had to share a cubicle with some other boys, and I dreaded it. I used to dread swimming every week. And when we were on family holidays, I could never take my top off. I had to wear my vest because I just felt naked. I just didn't feel right as a person. Just conscientious about my body.
This is really astonishing that you sort of repressed this for years, and it's only now that Penny dropped this, and we're going to talk some more in just a mo to Abbie about her experiences. For now, is Mabel. Love that so much. Mabel's Don't Call Me Up here on BBC CWR, the home of massive tunage. We have some top music coming your way. Mystery Year, of course, on the way after midday. I'll give you a little heads up on what you can expect very soon indeed. For now, though, with me in the studio is Abbie. Now, Abbie's story is just jaw-dropping. We were following the tale of Katie, who became a woman over the last couple of years, and we heard her story last year. Listening to it was Abbie, and then realised that she was transgender, which we heard just a moment ago Katie talking about her experience. It is the most massive change. Now, speaking as, I don't like it if we have different toilet roll. I can't cope with tiny weenie changes. You've gone through this massive change, and it isn't just about you, it's about your family. First of all, I mean, you said it was a big cloud of depression lifted when the final jigsaw piece went into place. So what did you do? Do you all of a sudden sort of say, well, okay, that's it, from now on, I'm a woman? How did it work?
Well, initially, I found out who I was. Just to 100% certain, I bought a skirt and I put a skirt on, and I got the same feelings as when I was 7 years old inside, and I just that just did it for. I want to just double make. I know I'd got a gut instinct, but to make it practically, I wore the skirt, and I just knew it just felt so right. And I bought some clothes, and it just felt so natural. And I've never looked back since. I go and buy clothes. I know what colours to wear. My ex-wife, we go to shopping together. I help her clothes, and it just comes so naturally, being a female. It's surprised me, really.
Well, you've got a glorious green on today, and can I say that goes with the hair beautifully? Your eyes are popping too. So green is your colour. We can establish that. You mentioned you go shopping with your ex-wife. Let's talk about how your relationships have been affected, because the one big loss you've had with this is your parents.
Yes. When I found out who I was, and I've always been straight and honest person, I've no need to lie to anybody. And I thought, well, my parents knew I'd been married twice, had difficulties, relationships, and struggled, and I thought perhaps I was 50-50, whether I tell them, should I lie to them, or should I tell them the truth? And I thought, well, if anything happens, at least they know who I am as a person. And I had the decision to go and tell them, my father, that who I was as a person. And he took it. He said, long as I'm okay, and he's happy for who I was. And then he told me mother, which is a bit of a different story. She couldn't handle it, which I respect their wish because they're different ages, you know.
Yeah, but even so, though, this is your mom, and you expect, you know, to be able to go to. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have mom to go to when I felt sad, to just give me a snuggle on the sofa and tell me it's all okay. I mean, tell me about the letter that you got.
They sent me a letter to explain. They didn't accept it, and they said that if I turned up there, they'd ring the police up. So I sent a letter back and said, well, if you can't accept me for who I am now and be happy for me, don't write a letter again. And I've not heard from them since. They sent me a Christmas card. And I've got 2 daughters. I went to see them and we had a meal together and explained to them about who I was as a person. And they said they accepted it, who I was. We don't see each other because they live miles away, and they left with my first wife years and years ago. So we haven't got as good a relationship as I would like, but that's how it is. And I have a twin brother, which I told last August, which he took him a while to accept it, and then he had his own personal problems at Christmas, and then 3 weeks after he told me he couldn't cope, maybe for my gender, and didn't want to see me again.
Blimmin' heck, Abbie, that's a lot of losses.
That hit me hard, because being your twin brother, when you've known him all your life, inside and out, but I can't stop for who I am. I can't change to make somebody else happy, and I've had to cope and accept their wishes, and hopefully, perhaps one day, they might come back and, you know, want to form a relationship with me, you know. But I've got to live my life now. I spent far too long pleasing other people and thinking about other people and hiding my true feelings by working all the while. And now I know who I am, and I want to spend the rest of my life being happy and being who I should be.
Is it worth it? Because people will be thinking, you know, you're opening yourself up to this most traumatic experience, the changing of gender. I can't imagine how hard that must be. And at the same time as that, you're letting family members go, your twin brother, your mum and your dad sort of become distant and apart. You know, you've lost them. How do you marry that up? Is it because this feeling that the knowing who you are is so important, it's worth that loss?
It's so strong and so important, and I'd suffered from depression all them years, and just put it through work and thought about other people, and I think now I'm a different person. I'm so happy for who I am, and I can't get over that, and that means a lot to me. I can't hide it anymore. I can't make my family happy. I can't live a lie. I just can't. I cannot go back now. That my past was a big black hole, and it dreads to go back. I can't go back that way. No way.
And all of that happened because of that chance listening to the radio,
yes,
and hearing Katie speaking.
Yes,
I mean, your life would have been really different if you hadn't heard that.
Yes. Like I said, in life, things happen for a reason. And I think I was just at the same right place at the right time, and my life just clicked. I was at a bad point. I think my old life had come to an end of its road. I think I come to a dead end, and I couldn't go any further. And I was that pretty bad. And even Katie, it just clicked, and it just changed my path. You know, I just can't. I'm indebted to her, because I just come to an end of the road of my old life. That was it.
Start of a brand new life.
Yes.
It must be exciting as well as difficult.
Scary and exciting, but yeah, I'm obviously, you know, I've got, you know, I'm looking forward to the future as being Abbie, you know, and just get some happiness. Everybody's been, you know, I've had so many years of unhappiness and lonely times on my own. I can't get over how lonely I've been, upset and lonely, and looking for other relationships of, you know, trying to be a partner, for them to make me happy, but I'm not happy in a person as myself, because I didn't know who I was. I know
you can be happy now.
And now I'm happy.
Yeah, free.
Yeah.
Abbie, thanks so much for coming in to the studio and telling us your story. And I'm so glad you just happened to be listening to the radio at that point. A game-changing, magnificent, and thank you again for the high-quality biscuits you have brought in for me and the team. I promise I'll share them. Abbie, what a pleasure to meet you. It is 9 minutes to 12.
BBC CWR.